This is the legendary GAN 11M Pro. Coming in after the GAN X, then the GAN XS, now GAN's newest flagship cube, the 11M Pro, and this is undoubtedly one of their best yet. But let's get straight into what this insane cube offers. The 11M Pro weighs in at an impressively low 63 grams. The standard plastic comes frosted, which is distinguishable when you scratch your nail against the surface. There are two other available options for plastic, which are the soft texture plastic, meant to give a rubbery soft feel, and also the UV coated plastic, made resistant to cube damage like scratches and dents. The cube also comes with adjustment tools, pamphlets, a cool bag, spare magnets, and 6 alternative GES nuts. Like the GAN XS, the 11M Pro has a massive range of adjustment features which are explained in the pamphlets that come with it. It all seems complex at first, but there's really just 3 main adjustments to fiddle with. The first is the centerpiece distance. Taking off the center cap, all you have to do to adjust this is push down with your fingers and rotate the hexagon until one of the crystal colored pointers lies on your desired number. There are 4 distances to choose from, where a higher number is a greater distance, making the cube looser, and levels 2 and 4 require replacing the light blue nut with the dark blue one. Aside from center cap distance, you can adjust the tension with the adjustment tool by rotating the GES nut anti-clockwise to one of 6 different tensions. At each tension you'll feel a small click, and when it comes back to tension of strength 1, you'll hear a more convincing snap. I certainly appreciate the convenience of this over having to replace the GES nuts for different tension settings. And third, you can change the magnet strength on the corners. Again, this can be done without disassembling the cube, which is really nice. Just take the screwdriver and push the little knob to the number 1, 2, or 3. Aside from these 3 adjustments, you can remove the magnets from the corners altogether. However, it's not recommended unless you really know what you're doing. Either way, there are a bunch of features you can adjust already, and we haven't even mentioned lube. That aside, let's get to what I think of its turning. Out of the box, the GAN 11M Pro was unbelievable. I can say with confidence that it's right up there with the best cubes I've ever turned. The nature of the light, frosted plastic initially made me a little uncertain, but my times have been outright solid with this cube. It's a very snappy, fast kind of cube, especially for GAN's normal feel, but control is its biggest strength for me. I love how I can spam turns and the cube just takes it like a champ. But when talking about turn feel, it is obviously very important to mention the settings I have on the cube. As usual, I prefer my cubes on the tighter side of the available settings. So for the 11M Pro, and it might surprise you to hear this, but the stock settings were basically my favourite. That is, a distance of 1 from the center cap to the core, a strength of 4 for the GES nut tension, and a magnet strength of 2 on the corners. I found that a center cap distance of any greater than 1 just made the cube too floppy, and I'd just get these annoying frequent lockups. For the tension, I didn't really mind a strength of 3 to 5, and even 6 got me good times at one point, but it was just a little inconsistent. Again, these are just my preferences, and you might have totally different ones. But now you know about the turning, let's try to compare it to some of the other recent GAN flagships by reminding ourselves of how they turned. The GAN Air SM, almost unbeatable at its arrival, was the last of the GAN line to use internal magnets and the original GES nut system, meaning magnets could not be replaced and nuts had to be completely changed for different tension settings. Aside from the inconvenience, the SM was insanely smooth and a little gummy, but for some, they didn't like the heavy weight of the cube, which made it a little slower, but as a whole, it was a pretty reliable cube. The GAN Air X was the first of the new adjustment design, featuring interchangeable magnets and tension settings on the GES nut itself. The X was still kind of gummy and smooth, but lighter, a bit more clicky, and more flexible I found. Like the SM, the X was my main for a long time, because of how quick and effortless I could turn it. But nowadays, I don't feel I have control of the cube 100% of the time. Next, the XS was almost like a crossover of the X and SM, except it had all the latest customization features as found in the 11M Pro. It had the plastic clickiness of the X and the chunky smooth feel of the SM. It is definitely lighter and has superb corner cutting, but without proper lubrication or tension, I can see how the high speeds of the turning can be an issue. Overall, I am extremely impressed with the GAN 11M Pro. At this point in time, it'll be my main cube because I seem to have no problems at all turning extremely fast while keeping full control of the cube. The magnets really do their job here. I'd be interested to see how the different style plastic affects the feel, but I'm sure you can't go wrong in whatever you choose. If you'd like to get your own GAN 11M Pro, it's currently available for pre-order at speedcube.com.au, unless you're watching this in November or later, in which case you can go pick one up now. There'll be a link in the description for that, and I'll see you guys in the next video.